Good morning, children.
Good morning, ma'am.
Only one is there in the
Good
class.
morning, ma'am. Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
We completed plant tissues in our previous class. The complex tissues were the last topic. The two complex tissues are, which are the two complex tissues, Isha? Name the two complex tissues. Isha, Zara.
Yes, ma'am.
Which are the two complex tissues in plants? Who can tell which are the two complex
Xylem and
tissues?
phloem.
Yes, xylem and phloem. What are they, Isha?
Xylem and phloem.
Xylem and phloem. So today we will learn the differences between xylem and phloem. Already we have learned about the components, functions, etc. But now we'll be comparing xylem tissue with phloem tissue. You can note down the points and you can definitely expect questions. So please listen carefully and note down the points. If you answer quickly, we can proceed also quickly. Otherwise, we'll waste a lot of time. See, you can see the table showing the differences between xylem and phloem. First difference is about their function. Xylem transports water and minerals. What do xylem transport? Water and minerals. From where to where? Since it is water, water need to be absorbed from the soil. So it will be transported from the roots. Roots are in contact with the soil. So roots will transport it to aerial parts. Aerial parts means parts above the soil like stem, leaves, branches. So you can say roots to all the other parts of the plant. Once again, xylem will transport water and minerals from the roots to different parts of the plant. Whereas phloem is transporting food. The xylem transporting water and minerals. Phloem transports food. Where is food prepared? Which is the kitchen of the plant? Leaves. It is in the leaf that the food is being prepared. So from the kitchen of the plant, that is from the leaf, it should be transported to other parts. So it will be transported from the leaves to all other parts of the plant. That is the first point. Now moving to the second point, the direction of transport. In xylem, the transport takes place in one direction, or else you can say it is unidirectional, unidirectional. Whereas in phloem, it is bidirectional transport. It can get transported both in the upward and downward direction. Now the last and final point, in xylem, majority of the cells are dead, or else you can say, except xylem parenchyma, all other cells are dead. Only xylem parenchyma is living, all the other cells are dead. Now phloem, except phloem fibers, all others are living. In phloem, majority of the tissues are living. In xylem, majority of the tissues are dead. So once again, we'll summarize the points. After that, I want you to tell the answers. So those who did not listen or those who did not understand, check it once again and try to learn now itself. The differences between xylem and phloem, there are three differences. The first point is that xylem will transport water and minerals from the roots to different parts of the plant, whereas phloem transports food from the leaves to different parts of the plant. Point number two, this was first point. Point number two, the transport is unidirectional in xylem, whereas bidirectional in phloem. Now moving on to point number three. In xylem, except xylem parenchyma, all other cells are dead. Whereas in phloem, except phloem fibers, all other cells are living. Once again, in phloem, majority of the cells are living. And in xylem, majority of the cells are dead. Any Repetition you need? Have you understood? You want me to repeat?
No, ma'am.
It's clear? You will be able to answer my question?
Yes, ma'am.
Everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So let's see whether you are able to answer. Who's going to say? There are three differences. I want you to say these differences one by one. 1 point one can say. Who's going to start? Who's confident enough to say? Fizan.
Xylem.
Who's saying?
Transport the
Okay, Rohan. Rohan. Okay, tell me, Rohan.
transport its.
Can I say?
No, Rohan started. If he cannot, I'll make you say. Rohan, can you say?
Transport the water and minerals from
Which
the
one? Xylem or phloem?
xylem.
Yes. Xylem will transport water
From
and
the
minerals from where to where?
root to
Different parts.
different parts.
Okay. Now phloem?
Phloem transport the food
Hmm.
from leaves
To where?
to part of plants.
To different parts of the plant. Very good. Who will tell? Fizan, you tell me the second point.
And transport is badrical in phylum.
Xylem transport is
Bidrical.
bidrical. Bidrical, that's what. Fizan, listen to me. That is about the direction. So in xylem, one direction. Phloem, two directions. Bi-directional. Unidirectional. Will you repeat once again?
Unidirectional and bidirectional.
I didn't understand. You just told those two terms.
Ma'am,
Tell it in full sentence, Fizan.
transports bidirectional
In which one?
in phloem.
Phloem. And in xylem it is?
And
Don't look and say. In xylem it is?
transport unidirectional.
Good. And the last point, who will say?
Ma'am, in xylem, the except xylem, parenchyma, all are dead cell.
Very good. Then in phloem?
Phloem, except phloem fiber, all are living cell.
Very good. Okay, so we'll continue. I hope others also have understood. Any doubt, I'm ready to repeat, but I want you to note down all these points. Now, next topic is about animal tissues. So with the differences between xylem and phloem, we have completed the plant tissues. Now, our next topic is animal tissues. Just like in plants, animals are also made up of different types of tissues. And mainly, there are 4 types of tissues in animals. The first one is epithelial tissue. Second one, connective tissue. Third one, muscular tissue. And the fourth one, nervous tissue. Epithelial tissue, connective tissue, muscular tissue, nervous tissue. So let us learn more about these animal tissues. Okay, so this is about animal tissues. You can see the picture of those 4 tissues I mentioned: connective tissue, muscular tissue, nervous tissue, epithelial tissue. And on the basis of the functions they perform, you can categorize animal tissues into 4. This classification of animal tissues into 4 is based on the function they perform. Each tissues or each one is preparing or performing a particular function. So on what criteria we have classified animal tissues? Based on the function they perform. And the 4 types of tissues are epithelial tissue, connective tissue, muscular tissue, and nervous tissue. Once again, epithelial tissue. I know these are new terms, so you can write all the new terms 5 or 10 times and learn. Otherwise, you will make mistake in the spellings. So please write it. You can decide how many times you need to write. I'm not telling you should write 10 or 25 times. If you just write 3 times, if you can learn by that, you need to write only 3 times. But if you need to write it many times to learn, accordingly you can do. Epithelial tissue, then connective tissue, muscular tissue, and nervous tissue. We will start with the first one, that is epithelial tissue. So once again, I'll repeat what I was saying. Animal tissues can be classified into 4. Which are they? Epithelial tissue, connective tissue, muscular tissue, and nervous tissue based on what? Based on the functions
Function
they
of
perform. So we
perform.
are going to start with the first tissue, that is epithelial tissue. There are different types of epithelial tissue. About the types of epithelial tissue and all, you will be learning in our next class. Now you will learn the basic features, some characteristic features of which tissue? Epithelial tissue. Let us start with the first point. Epithelial tissue is the one which covers and protects the animal body, or else you can say the covering and protective tissues in the animal body are known as epithelial tissues. In other words, you can say this tissue will cover and protect the animal body. The entire body of animal is covered and protected by which tissue? Epithelial tissue. Epithelial tissue covers and protects the entire animal body. Then, not only the external body, it will also cover the internal organs. We have many internal organs, each with a specific function. So they are covering the outer part of your body and also the internal organs and also the cavities inside the body. You have so many cavities. For example, alimentary canal. There is a cavity inside. There is a space inside. So these cavities are also lined by epithelial tissue. Once again, where can you find epithelial tissue? You can find epithelial tissue covering your entire body, your internal organs, and also the cavities are being lined with this particular tissue, that is epithelial tissue. Some examples they have given. Skin you can find. Skin is made up of epithelial. The lining of the mouth, the lining of the blood vessels, lung alveoli, kidney tubules, the tubules in the kidney, all these are lined with which tissue? Epithelial tissue. Okay, all these are some examples where you can find epithelial tissue. And lung alveoli, I think all the other terms, mouth, skin, blood vessels, kidney, all these, yes.
What is lung alveoli?
I was about to say, all these you're familiar except lung alveoli. Lung alveoli means inside the lungs, there are some balloon-like structures. You will learn more about it later. And these balloon-like structures which are present in the lungs are known as lung alveoli. And the speciality of these structures are that, or it is in these cells that the exchange of gases takes place. You know that in the lungs, exchange of gases, oxygen and carbon dioxide takes place. To be specific, it is in the alveoli that the exchange of gases takes place. Once again, lung alveoli are balloon-like structures found inside your lungs where the exchange of gases takes place. Carbon dioxide is given out and oxygen is taken in, and this is happening in the lung alveoli. So once again, we started with the main features of, we started with the characteristic features of epithelial Characteristic features of epithelial tissues. The first point what we said is these are the tissues that cover and protect the body of an animal. They cover and protect the animal body. The first point is that this particular tissue will cover and protect the body of animals. Point number 2, they are found even in the internal organs. They cover the internal organs and even lines the cavities in your body. Then we learned about some examples or some places where these are found. Lung alveoli, blood vessels, then the mouth lining, skin, kidney tubules, everywhere you can find epithelial tissue. If you're asked to give a few examples, you need to say all these places. Which are they? Skin, lining of your mouth, lining of blood vessels, kidney tubules, lung alveoli, etc. Is it clear?
Ma'am, can ma'am repeat lung alveoli?
Lung alveoli means inside your lungs, some balloon-like structures are present. Actually, these are supplied with so much blood vessels and all. And the peculiarity or speciality of these balloon-like structures is that exchange of gases takes place in lung alveoli. Gaseous exchange is taking place in the lung alveoli. It's a part of your lungs, inside the lungs, some balloon-like structures, details and all you'll be learning in higher classes. Okay? Is that clear, child?
Ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Next, we are moving on to learn more features about epithelial tissue. Here you can see epithelial tissue as seen in the figure. These are very tightly packed. What you see in purple color is the nucleus. So each cell you can find the nucleus shown in a different color, and there are no gaps in between. See the figure closely. All these cells are very closely arranged. So that is our next point. Epithelial tissue cells, or the cells in an epithelial tissue, they are very tightly packed and they form a continuous sheet. So
These
no gaps,
functions only.
and they are very tightly packed because there is,
Functions only.
yes,
Okay.
we are saying about the features, the characteristic features. You know that one function we already learned, it covers and protects your body and internal organs. Okay, so if it has to provide protection, they should be arranged very closely without any gaps in between. So the cells are very closely or tightly packed and they form a continuous sheet as you see in the figure. Then next point, this we can say it is its function. It acts as a barrier keeping different organ systems separate. So in your body, body systems means the different organ systems in your body. We have respiratory system, digestive system, excretory system. So many systems are there, and these systems are kept separate with the help of epithelial tissue, or they will act as a barrier and separates the different organ systems. So already we learned two functions. The first function what we learned is that it will cover and protect the entire body, your internal organs, and lines the cavities in your body. And now we have discussed one more point. It will act as a barrier separating different body systems. Okay, is that point clear? So first let me see whether you were able to catch up the points what I told you now. So about epithelial tissue.
Ma'am, can you repeat the last point?
What was the last point?
It also forms a barrier.
It also forms a
Can
barrier.
you show the slide?
I'll repeat the points. So last slide, no, who asked that?
Risan. Ma'am, I missed
No.
that.
Rachel.
Okay, Rachel, I'll tell you only the last slide, no, Rachel? Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
So again, when I share the screen, I'll be showing that slide. The points we discussed in the last slide is, the first one is the cells in an epithelial tissue. They are tightly packed. They are very closely packed and they form a continuous sheet. That is the first point we said in the second slide. Then we learned that it acts as a barrier Barrier means to separate, forms a border. It acts as a barrier between or keeping different body systems separate. In your body, there are different organ systems. So these are kept separate with the help of epithelial tissue. So the 2 points we learned in the last slide are that first one is it is arranged very closely without any space or gaps in between, and they form a continuous sheet. Second point is that they form a barrier keeping the different organ systems separate. Okay? Yes? Agna? Any point? We saw 2 slides. From that, can you tell at least 1 point? Agna, I cannot hear you, child. Try now.
Form a barrier to protect.
Louder, louder.
They form a barrier to protect our entire body.
Okay. They covers and protects your entire body. Then any other point? Lena?
Ma'am,
Yes, Visan.
it is tightly packed.
Louder.
It is tightly packed.
It is tightly, the cells in an epithelial tissue are tightly packed, forming a continuous sheet. Yes, Lena, next point.
Also covers most organs and cavities inside the body.
Can you say without checking anywhere?
It covers the organs and cavities inside the body.
It covers our internal organs and even lines the cavities. Then what else we learned? Rachel George.
It forms a barrier to keep different systems.
It acts as a barrier, keeping different organ or body systems separate. I think we covered everything. Can you tell me some places where you find epithelial tissue? Who will tell me some? Yes. Not Rachel. Rachel, you got a chance. Who did not open their mouth so far? Somebody. Where can you find? Yes, Eva.
Lungs.
Louder.
Lungs.
Who is saying? Eva or Rohan? Rohan, you already told, no? Eva also got a chance?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then let me ask someone else. Rhea?
It is found in skin, lining of the blood vessels,
Good, good.
lining
Enough.
of the mouth.
Okay, very good. Now, let us learn more about epithelial tissue. Okay. The permeability, listen carefully, the permeability of the cells in an epithelium or epithelial tissue, it's very important in allowing the exchange of materials between the body and the external environment. I hope it is a little difficult for you to understand. You know what is permeability? Permeability means if a membrane is permeable means it will allow materials to pass through it. Impermeable means it will not allow materials to pass through. Semi-permeable means only selected substances can pass through. So the cells of epithelial tissue, you know that these are covering your internal organs, covering your entire body. So if some substances need to enter your body from outside, it has to pass through the epithelial cells. Am I right? Since they are covering your body, your internal organ, lining the tissues, lining the cavities inside, then anything entering your body from outside should be able to pass through this epithelial cells. So the permeability of the epithelial cells, it plays a very important role in allowing or in helping in the exchange of materials. Because if the epithelial cells are not permeable, materials cannot enter because they are forming the outermost covering of our body and organs. So the same thing, you can put it in a different way. Anything which is entering your body from outside or leaving your body, it has to pass through at least one layer of epithelial cells. Since why? Because epithelial cells are forming outermost boundary, your outermost part of your body, covers and protects the entire body, your internal organs, lining the cavities. So if these substances need to enter your body or your organs, it should pass through, it should cross this epithelium. So if the epithelium is not permeable, the materials will not be able to enter. So anything entering or leaving your body from outside has to pass through at least one layer of epithelium. And next point, in epithelial cells, as we already told that these are very tightly packed and there are no intercellular spaces, no gaps in between. And they have very little cementing material. Cementing material means substance which keeps the cells together. So already they are tightly packed. So there is no need of any cementing material. So very less material is present because as such the cells are very closely packed without any gaps in between. And the last point, you know that epithelial tissues covering your internal organs, your external part or the entire body is covered by epithelial tissue. And there is a membrane which is separating epithelial cells or epithelial tissue from the underlying layers. So there is epithelial tissue. Beneath that, the different tissues are present. The different layers of tissues are present. But in between these two, in between the epithelial tissue and the tissues lying beneath, there is a membrane. What do you call this membrane? Extracellular, which is outside the cell. Extracellular fibrous basement membrane. So what is separating the epithelial tissue from the underlying tissues? Extracellular fibrous basement membrane. So three parts are there: extracellular, fibrous, basement membrane. So once again, we will see all the points mentioned in this slide. The permeability of the epithelial cells plays a very important role in the exchange of materials. Why? Because anything entering or leaving the body should pass through at least one layer of epithelium. Then we learned in between the epithelial cells, very less amount of cementing material is present because already they are packed very tightly. And there are no intercellular space. What is meant by intercellular space? The space in between the cells. And the last point is that all the epithelial tissue, you'll be learning about different types of epithelial tissue. Whichever be the type of epithelium, all the epithelial tissues or all the epithelium, they are separated from the underlying tissues with the help of a membrane. You call it as extracellular fibrous basement membrane. Hope you got it. And some of you had requested me to show the previous slide. So I'll show you that also quickly. This one, some of them wanted to see it. Epithelial tissues or cells in an epithelial tissue are tightly packed. They form a continuous sheet. They form a barrier keeping different body systems separate. Then moving on to the slide which you saw now. Those who did not understand, please check it once again. If you haven't followed, let me know.
Okay.
The permeability of the epithelial cells plays a very important role in the exchange of materials between the body and the external environment. Why? Because anything entering your body should pass through at least one layer of epithelium. Then we learned that the cells in an epithelial tissue are very closely packed without any intercellular space, and there is very little or a very less cementing material between them. And the last point we learned was that separating epithelium from the underlying tissues, there is a membrane. What is the name of the membrane? Extracellular fibrous basement membrane. Extracellular fibrous basement membrane. So learn it now itself. Extracellular fibrous basement membrane. Three parts: extracellular fibrous basement membrane. What is special about this membrane? It separates epithelial tissue from the underlying tissues. Okay. So before Okay, now we'll summarize the points which we discussed in our last slide. Who will start? Who will start?
It plays an important role.
Lizan. Not you. You got enough chance. I know you have understood. You will be able to say. I want somebody else to say the points. Those who did not. Rachel, Bobbin, why don't you try? Rachel? Any point.
Which one?
Any point of your choice.
Epithelium.
Epithelium.
Epithelium tissues covers and
The last slide. From the last slide, I want you to say. How are they arranged, Rachel? How are the cells arranged?
cells are lightly
Slightly arranged.
like
What is special about the arrangement of the cells? Loosely packed?
what I
Then tell me that. The cells are?
tightly packed and form
Ah,
a
ah,
sheet.
tightly packed, forming a continuous sheet.
Continuous sheet.
You can say that there are no intercellular spaces between them and there is less cementing material. Rachel, George, tell me another point.
Ma'am, this covers most of the organs.
Rachel, from the last slide I want.
Ma'am,
Anything entering your body should cross?
epithelium, that continuous sheet.
Once again.
Anything wanted to enter the body should cross the epithelium sheet.
At least one layer of epithelium. And what do you call the membrane separating epithelium from the underlying tissues? Who will tell me that? Anybody? Many times I repeated that term. The membrane separating epithelium from the underlying tissues. Isha?
Cellular,
Who is saying?
extracellular,
Extracellular?
fibrous basement,
Very good. Extracellular fibrous basement membrane.
Basement membrane.
Isha, can you repeat?
Extracellular and
Extracellular? Isha, no light in your room. Your face is not visible. Next class, at least see that you sit in a well-lighted room. Repeat the point, Isha.
extracellular
Fibrous
Basement.
basement membrane. You will repeat again.
extracellular and fibrous basement.
Membrane. Not and. Extracellular fibrous basement membrane. What membrane, Agna? What type of membrane? Yes, say Agna.
What type of membrane?
Voice is not clear. It's okay. You were saying
Basement.
something. Who will tell that?
Basement membrane.
Nabil, what is the name of the membrane?
Basement.
yes, ma'am.
What is the name of the membrane we were discussing now? This is what I said. I had been repeating it many times. You did not it down?
Basement.
Wait. Nabil, I will say once. Nabil, listen here. Don't search anywhere. Listen to me. Extracellular fibrous basement membrane. Repeat.
The extracellular fiber base membrane.
Extracellular fibrous basement membrane. So be attentive in the class. Okay, thank you children. See you
Thank
next
you, ma'am.
class.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.